Hey everybody, this is a video response to GodVeiwsutube and a couple of videos he's done. A while back he made a video called Knowing the Bible Means Nothing, and I made a video response to that. And then he made a response to me, kind of. He didn't really name me, because I guess he doesn't want to give me all the popularity that I would get from his subscribers. And that was called Agents of Satan, Masters of None. Okay, so all I really have to say about that exchange of his video, my response, and then his response to my response, which I will leave all three videos in the description box, is if people watch those videos in order, they can plainly see that it was Randy who picked the fight of him being anti-intellectual and anti-education. And when I put him in his place, he then goes and cries about it. Okay, Randy, quit making yourself to be the victim. Your persecution complex is showing. In terms that you can understand, because I see that you like fighting sports, you've got a bit of a boxing background. There's a term in MMA, in mixed martial arts, for what you're doing. It's called pulling guard, okay? You basically drop to the ground, try to pull the person in with you, and then, while on the ground, you do something that, and I mean this pun intentionally, it's called lay and pray, okay? Because you really don't have a chance with the type of fight that you've picked. You just, you want to make your argument to the judges later on, oh, look, I did so well from the position I was in. No, it's not working. You put yourself in that position. Everyone can see it. You're the one who said, oh, when these educated people walk in the room, they want everyone to wait on their every word. That was you, Randy, in your first video, the one that I responded to, okay? That was you picking that fight with the world. And this probably goes in your life beyond just YouTube. So I just want you to check yourself and think about what you're doing when you start hating on people just because they have an education, and you start blowing up your own self-esteem by saying, well, God is rewarding me with knowledge because I'm uneducated. Okay? Think about the harm that you're doing to yourself. The next video I want to talk about is Randy's latest. It's Christian Misinformation May Lead to Hell. First off, I want to point out that opinion is misspelled here when you say this is your opinion on who is a true Christian. And then I want to go ahead and point out that just this statement alone pretty much sums up a good half of your video, because you're going to use the No True Scotsman fallacy, link in the description box to explain that to you, to call other Christians not Christian. Okay? And you've got a problem with Christians who are drinking, smoking, doing drugs, being corrupt politicians, dealing drugs in a jail cell or at church. I didn't really understand that part. Is the jail cell in church? I don't know. And you have a problem with them doing all that and then still being Christians. Okay. Here's my understanding of what you're getting wrong about Christianity, having read the Bible versus your understanding of knowing what God is, with just your heart. There's a little passage in there that says, judge not lest ye be judged. It's a pretty important tenet in all the things that Christianity teaches. Really wish you would read that Bible. Anyways, you go on to look at other Christian denominations such as Catholics and Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons, those kind of Christians. They're not real Christians to you, and I'm very familiar with this Protestant bigotry towards all other denominations and thinking that you're the elect, and you're promising because because conveniently what you think is what God thinks, that God's statistics on who is a Christian will not match what people say, what people are self-reporting, whether or not they are a Christian. Because God is just going to pick your beliefs, the people who believe like you. It's not the 2.1 billion. No, it's much smaller than that, because you like to think that you're elite in your uneducated self. Yeah. It's bigotry. Seriously. It's Christian on Christian violence in this bigoted thought that you have the answer and they don't, and you have no more proof than they do. And you have no better arguments, especially because you're uneducated. Okay? So, you've got some virtues that you say that have come to you from being a Christian. You say that you quit crime, you quit living that life, whatever that means. You quit drugs, you quit swearing, you quit watching television, you quit being part of the world, you quit having a lot of worldly possessions, and you quit having much of an interest in the world. And those are your virtues. I don't even agree with all of those virtues, seriously. I think television might be a good educator for you. You could, flip on the Discovery Channel, maybe. Anyways, I've got some new virtues for you, okay? Things that I want you to think about. I'd like you to start caring more about the world than hoping for the fiery, apocalyptic end of the world. I'd like you to stop reveling in your imagined mass punishment, fiery hell for all the people in the world that don't perceive God the way that you do. I'd like you to stop being bigoted against other Christian denominations and realize that you sound just as wacky and unsubstantiated as the rest of them. I'd like you to quit slut-shaming people for the way that they dress. I'd like you to quit judging people based on their musical tastes. Those definitely are two really petty things that I don't think that Jesus would have done. In fact, he liked to go out to where people had different tastes and were of a different culture and then preach to those people. He didn't really go out there to just shame them for being that way. That you really need to open that Bible, dude. Seriously, if you're going to call yourself a Christian, I would recommend it. I'm not going to say that you're not a Christian because you haven't read that Bible. I'm just going to say it's nice to read the instruction manual. So yeah, those are the things that I would want for you based on my reading of the Bible versus your knowledge of God in your heart. Also, a couple little tidbits here. You've put up all throughout your video that people are using your video without your consent. No, just the fact that you upload it to YouTube gives other people the consent that they need because of the YouTube terms of service. I'd really like you to check out fair use. Also, you're completely misrepresenting what people have done to your videos because, at least in my case, if you played your own video and then played my video where I interspersed clips of me into your video, it's pretty much word for word. I didn't cut out anything of what you said. I just put in my own opinion in different places. And you think that it's changing its content to the point where it's changing the meaning that you're trying to get across. Well, also, I put a link to your video in the description box of my video so that people could get that original context if they wanted. And this being YouTube, if I had taken you out of context in a way that twisted your words around, people would have called me on it. Trust me, there are people waiting in the wings that just want to tear apart everyone. And I am in the sights of quite a few people that would love to put me up on their mantle as a trophy. So, fail, okay? Your words weren't twisted around. Yeah. And you also put this little message all throughout your video. If this video is on any other channel but GodVeiwsutube, then it has been taken without my consent and is being used to belittle me and hurt my message. Or someone mirrored it because they think that you do enough damage to your own message, and they don't even have to say anything, really. They can just put you up against yourself. Such as, in your video, you actually say that Christians should live in glass houses and, be above reproach, beyond reproach. They should be able to be examined, in all parts of their lives, and you won't find any fault with them. Well, why are you afraid of other people taking clips of your video and critiquing it? If you're living in such a glass house, Mr. Christian. And I noticed it while I was watching the video, and you said that because you have the curtain closed behind you, and you said that Christians wouldn't have their curtains closed, their blinds closed. And then by the end of the video, I guess you realized that what you had done after the fact, and you put a little annotation in your video, and it says, "My blinds are closed because I'm well aware that I'm not perfect in Christ and still have a lot of work to do. God has me on the operating table." Well, why doesn't God have all these other people on the operating table that drink, smoke, do drugs, are corrupt politicians, are dealing drugs in jail cells and or churches, those people that you don't think are Christians? Why can't those people consider themselves as being on God's operating table? You see your hypocrisy here, okay? It's bad enough that you had to look at your own video and then, backtrack with a weird narrative like this. But it's completely hypocritical of you to say that you need work, but you're still within God's good grace. But these other people that need work, they're not in God's good grace, okay? And to wrap it all up, I've got one question for you. Do you think Christians sin? That's it. That's my question for you. Just dwell on that for a while.